Hey, welcome to Wolf's Watch. I'm Wolf. Hope you're having a fabulous Friday. And speaking of Friday, it is June 10th, 2022. Today is the day that we get our next round of inflation statistics. And it's not a good picture, as you've probably already heard. Now, look, this is not going to be a doom and gloom session. We're going to have a little dose of reality because reality is your friend, right? So the official numbers are inflation is 8.6%. It's a bit of a jump over, that's for May, right? Bit of a jump over April, which was at 8.3%. Hopes were, by some, there were some headlines running going, oh, 8.3%. It's great. Inflation's stopping. It's slowing down because it was 8.5% in March. Well, guess what? No such luck. Smart money was saying, no, look, it's just a flattening. It's not a slowdown. The year over year increase, May of 2021 to 2022 was 8.6%. That's the biggest jump in well over 40 years. In some sectors like energy and fuel, gasoline was 106% jump, which is the biggest in since they started recording these statistics in 1935. 1935. Holy cow. I'm looking over here to get some numbers. Speaking of 19, we'll come back to that. Speaking of 1935, and as in the title, we will deliver on the promise of the headline here. Adapt or, right? Adapt or. And speaking of adapt or, something else that happened in 1935, and on this day, June 10th, 1935, let me get this up here for you, was the first day, the founding of Alcoholics Anonymous. You may have heard of them. They're anonymous, yet known. That's a conundrum, huh? That'll get your head twisted a little bit. Think about that one. They're anonymous but famous. Yeah, okay. Spiritual math, I think that's called. That organization's been around from 1935. This is when the infamous Dr. Bob, who was a drunken proctologist, have you ever seen Cannonball Run? Think about that. There's a hat tip to Dr. Bob. My personal opinion, there's a hat tip to Dr. Bob in that. One of the characters, see if, play along here in the comments, see if you can remember who that was, who the character was that portrayed a kind of a Dr. Bob type character. But in this day, June 10th, 1935, the drunken proctologist, Dr. Bob, became one of the founding members of Alcoholics Anonymous when Bill W., and there was a great movie about that, Bill's Story or something like that, came out in the 80s. Fantastic. This guy rode a Harley. Gotta love him. His wife rode a Harley. Gotta love her. 1930s. Go girl. Bill paid a visit to Dr. Bob, and that first conversation, that was considered the founding of an organization that has helped millions. It's created the 12-step industry, I guess we could call it now, because there's a 12-step program for about anything, which, is a good thing. I'm not mocking that. I'm just saying it's intriguing. It's ironic, funny in an ironic way on how that has spread. And it's helped so many people, right? With through the 12-step process, with overcoming major challenges, major compulsions in their lives. So good for you, AA. Keep on charging that road, my friends. Just had to share that because speaking of adapt or, look at the success stories. There's a lot of heartbreaking stories as well. Look at the success stories because that's what didn't exist before AA. The success stories where people were able to adapt, where they were able to really change their lives. And I'm going to change the graphic there for you. And that's the theme of today's episode because of the inflation statistics. Coming back to the reality of inflation. And again, this isn't gloom and doom. This is understand the reality around you. May was a 1% increase in inflation. Inflation from March to May is 1%. It's a 1% increase. So think about that. It's back on track with the 12%, right? And this is the consumer side of things. Business to business has been tracking higher. That's been 11 to 15%, depending on whose numbers you look at, 12%. So we're very much in the 12% annual inflation for what you need to buy for your business, right? So that's burning your money at a rate of 1% a month. It's more expensive coming in. You're buying less, when you're buying new stuff, it costs you more and you're getting less. When you're delaying payments from your customers, you're financing your customers, guess what? you're losing money at a rate of 1% a month minimum, depending on how that, if you get interest rates are going up next week. The Federal Reserve is having their meeting, and they're expected to announce another half percentage point increase. Not tragic in and of itself. The thing is, that makes it a full percentage point for the year. Mortgage rates it looked like they were taking down, but they're climbing back up again. Home buying, so new applications for mortgage rates dropped dramatically. This is just all coming back into, we've got high inflation. It's here to stay. It's not going away. Even the Treasury Secretary, Yellen, has said, no, through the end of the year, it's going to be, quote, ugly. So be prepared for that. Understand the reality, and then refuse to participate. Adapt. See, this is why we have the title of Adapt, or what are you going to do? Right? You can't adapt if you don't understand what the baseline is. Got to have that baseline. Right? As Taiichi Ono from Toyota famously said, where there's no measurement, there can be no progress. So have that baseline where you're at. In order to have progress against inflation, you can thrive, you can build your business. So entrepreneurs, this is specifically for you. There's a solution for that. And maybe it should be a 12-step program. Maybe we should have the 12 steps of inflation defeat or something, inflation. Not going to play with that. You can have fun with it. We'll see, throw it in the comments. And here's the thing. Don't participate in the gloom and doom of the reality of high inflation, of the likelihood of a serious, severe recession coming up here in sooner than later, most likely. Again, that's just understanding the reality around you so that you can respond accordingly, because there are things that you can do. There's a shift in perspective that needs to happen that sets this table for you to thrive while your competitors are stumbling or failing in this kind of an environment. Right? We've been talking about this over the past couple of months on Wolf's Watch. So I'm not going to continue to throw the, hey, do this, do that at you. It's just, this is Fabulous Friday. You're coming into the weekend. So think that through. You either adapt or what? Right? It's like this weekend, I had some things planned, had an opportunity come up. So this is part of my adapting personally. I have an opportunity to spend 2 days on a boat, which is a pretty good deal, but it's to study, right? It's a 2-day study tour, not a 3-hour tour. And I avoid 3-hour tours on the water. Just for some reason, makes me nervous. Can't hang with that. And we're going to be, so we're going to have some fun. We're going to have adventure and learn from one of the masters, from, John Limbacher, founder of Internet Dominators. Go check that out, internetdominators.com, to study based on things that he's learned recently, that to help adapt to this environment, to market better, to communicate better with our marketplace. What are you doing this weekend? It doesn't have to be work, but be purposeful, right? Spend time with friends and family. That's hugely important. You got to enjoy the journey, right? If you don't, what's the point? Yeah, 78 years, 87 years of 12-step programs, helping people adapt on a very personal level. And that's where it all starts. It's one of the reasons that caught my eye. What are you doing on a personal level to adapt so that you can lead your company through this time, through these turbulent times, right? It's been 2 years, right? It's been 2 years of total crap show, right? The great lockdown, the economic chaos that came from that. Just starting to get a breather, and guess what? Sorry, inflation and supply chain disruptions rip-roaring on that. So it's been a chaotic 2 years. The next 2 years are going to be more chaos. It's not going to be the exact same thing, just more of it. So you're probably exhausted, pivoted out, right? Keep pivoting, and it's like, whoa, where are you going to pivot to? Going to break the pivoter, right? If you keep pivoting, you still need to find ways to adapt. It's a big part of that is enjoying the journey so that you don't become so weary that you just can't charge the hill every day. Right? So let me know, what are you doing? How are you enjoying your summer? How are you staying energized? Because that affects your team, that affects your supplier relationships, that affects your customer relationships. Even more importantly, that affects family and friends relationships. Make sure you're enjoying the people you value most. 'Cause I'll tell you, back to personal experience, can't tell you how many times when I parted company with someone, that was the last time that I saw them. And fortunately, I could say most of the time, was glad that we parted the company the way that we did, as it helped. I felt good about that. And there were a few times it was like going, "Oh man, not going to make that mistake." So I adapted, right? I amended my behavior so that in the future, if something like that happens, things were left good. So do good in your community, enjoy your journey, carry that energy into your family and friends relationships, into your business, into the mission that you have that you're accomplishing through your business. Right? Our mission at Adventure CEO. So Wolf's Watch is brought to you by Adventure CEO. The mission at Adventure CEO is to create a culture of self-determination, independence within the US. And not to just talk about it, but to create a culture by making it possible for people to do that so that they can make their own way. And we do that by working with leaders of leaders, entrepreneurs like you, because that's the highest point of leverage, to be able to continually expand opportunities. What's your mission? How are you staying engaged with that and energized with that, getting people to rally around you with that? Let us know. Put in the comments. Want to rally around your mission with you? Want to have you rally around ours as well. So I'm off for an adventure this weekend. Hope you are too and enjoying. It's summertime, right? It's summertime 2022. I don't know, as you're watching this, I don't know how old you are, but if you're in my age range, it's one of the things like going, oh my gosh, how did this happen? How did it get to be 2022? How did it get to summertime of this year, right? It's just going fast. So have fun. Have a fabulous Friday. Look for those examples of the good stuff that's happening. And join us next week for the Inflation Negation Challenge, right? We're going to be doing 5 lunch meetings. It's going to be 60 minutes. There's no charge for this. It's complimentary, where we're going to be sharing. Look, there's 5 major strategies based on what companies have done in past inflationary cycles that set the stage for you to be able to thrive, to be able to scale up your business, to be able to grow, to be able to serve your customers better, and apply that in your business, right? We're going to do one a day, 60 minutes only. Lunch, not going to be recorded or anything. We're going to share that. And part of that's based on personal experience. Part of that's based on people that I've interviewed over the years. If you watched yesterday's episode, the previous episode to this one, when we had Laurel Rolls on, she was amazing, brought some amazing knowledge to the table. She's been helping companies in many different industries through all kinds of challenges. So she brought her knowledge to it's people like that I've learned from. Also research that's been published. My case study for my first book, which was a turnaround that I led here in Los Angeles. And, because we're in this together, I'm going to get through this together. And here's, let me throw this banner up here for you. Then you can go to this. Whoop, there's Laurel. There's how to get in touch with Laurel from yesterday. But also we've got the Inflation Negation Challenge. Yeah. And I will learn someday. There it is. I've done this before. It's just finding the right buttons to press, right? How can you tell who the recovery engineer is in the room? It's the one looking for the off and on switch. Or in this case, which button to press to get the right banner to come up, the right lower third, as they call it, the professionals in the broadcast community. Have fun. I'm having fun, and it's like I like to say, laugh with me, laugh at me, just laugh and enjoy the journey. And enjoy us next week. Put it in the comments. I'll reach out to you. I'll send you a message through, if you're watching this on Facebook or on YouTube, I'll PM you, or send you an email if you want, or you can go to this domain name for more information on the challenge that's coming up next week. That'll be the 13th through the 17th of June, 2022. Have an awesome Friday evening. Have an incredible weekend. I'll be broadcasting from the ocean from our adventure if we get connectivity. And I will otherwise see you on the trail.